Hello and welcome to a special video here at Game Informer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Xbox Series X controller and comparing it to that of the Xbox One. I'm joined by Alex Stadnick.
Hello, friends. Finally from the booth for the first time
I know.
in quite some time.
Alex Stadnick in the booth.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's like retro.
Yeah, for real. I don't like that, though.
So, Alex, you're a big Xbox guy.
In stature and in fandom, I
Yes.
would say.
I'm also an Xbox fan. That's probably my primary system. I have a PS4 and a Switch as well, but I also think that like even when I'm playing on my PC, I use an Xbox One controller. It's my favorite controller of all time.
Yeah.
So that's why when Xbox Series X was coming out and they showed the new controller, which I have right here, and they said they weren't going to be making too many changes to it, I was not that upset about it. Like, if you look at PS5, they're making a ton of changes. They're even rebranding it from DualShock to DualSense.
Yep.
I think people were a little hesitant, but they're excited because it's something new. Whereas the Xbox Series X, I think it's almost like improving upon and like iterating on the best controller I think I've ever used in terms of like stock comes with the console controller. So let's get down to like what the differences are between these. So it still has the offset joysticks or analog sticks, as you can see. But the big difference right here is in the share button, which is right here in the middle. So right here on your left side of the screen, you see an Xbox One controller, just a standard Xbox One controller. And then on the right side, you'll see the Xbox Series X. So it has the share button, which is really awesome because I love that you can just hit that button once, like a quick tap, and it will record or take a screenshot. And then if you do a long press and then release, it'll record a video, which is super, super convenient. Because if you like, I don't know if you recorded a ton of like videos or taken screenshots on Xbox One, but you have to hit the home button. It brings up a separate menu, and then you have to press X or Y to record footage or capture a screenshot. It sometimes doesn't work because sometimes games will like kick you out to like a pause menu automatically. So when you go to take your screenshot, it'll just take a picture of the menu, which is less than helpful. Whereas this, you don't have to pause the action at all. It just jumps right into the little like, almost sounds like the achievement notification where it says screenshot saved. And then you can have it set to upload directly to Xbox Live as well. The other big difference is in the D-pad, which you can see it's like the hybrid style. So it has the plus sign like you have here, but instead of hard edges, it has the kind of the multi-directional design. I was hesitant about this at first because I really like the D-pad of the Xbox One controller with the hard edges. It feels really good playing that on like 2D platformers like Dead Cells, like Sonic Mania.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm pleasantly surprised with the D-pad design and how it feels. It has a nice click to it. It feels extremely accurate. If you look at our new gameplay today, we checked out a little bit of Street Fighter 4. And I was able to pull off some Hadokens without any problem. I was able to control my Ryu pretty easily.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sonic Mania. I was blazing through levels pretty fast. And Dead Cells, I didn't really make any errors when I was playing, any more so than I would have normally.
For sure.
I suck at that game.
Yeah, that's
yeah, so those are the two big differences, but it's also little things like there's like a grip on the back of the controller. The triggers have a nice grip to them. The shoulder buttons feel good, but they don't have like that really like obnoxious click that the Xbox One controller has.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love that.
And then like little visual design, like you can see the Xbox One controller has this little like divot around the home screen. Xbox Series X does not. Just a tiny little visual difference.
For sure. So I have a question for you, Mr. Shea. As someone who has self-proclaimed that the Xbox Elite 2 controller is the best in the business, how does this stack compare to that?
You know, I bought the Xbox Elite Series 2 controller the day or the week, I don't know if it was the exact day, but the week that they said that all of your Xbox One accessories will carry forward, all your games, all of your accessories will carry forward into Series X. Because when they released the Elite Series 2, I was like, why would anybody buy this right now? There's a new system coming out in like a year and a half or whatever it was, a year maybe. Why would anybody spend that much money on a controller when it's not going to work with the next system? But, I bought it when they said it's all going to carry forward, and I still love it. I think it's the best controller I've ever used. Stock upgraded any. I've bought SCUF controllers. I love SCUF controllers. I think the Elite Series 2 is my favorite controller. So when they were talking about like the design of this controller, the Series X controller, I was like, that's fine. That'll be a nice Player 2 controller. I just resigned to the fact that I would not use it ever.
Yeah.
I still think that probably holds true.
Okay.
I think that I'm holding steadfast in my love of the Xbox Elite Series 2. However, I didn't expect this Series X controller. There's a lot of series and X's and everything when you were talking about this.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the Xbox Series X controller to come as close to the Elite Series 2 as it did. However, I'm going to stick with the Elite Series 2. I think that the Series X controller is a definite improvement over the One controller. However, it is not to like the point of the thing about the Series 2 Elite controller. Sorry, a lot of confusing wording here.
Yeah.
The thing about the Elite Series 2 controller is that you can swap out the D-pad, you can swap out the analog sticks to be higher, to be concave, to be convex. And there's also the paddles around the back, which obviously the stock controller does not have. And I love being able to map the different buttons, the paddles, what they do. You can't do that really with the Series X controller. Obviously, you can't swap out the D-pad or the analog sticks. So I think I'm going to stick with the Elite Series 2. But if my Elite Series 2, which also it has an amazing rechargeable battery. I think you can get 40 hours of gameplay out of the Elite Series 2.
Oh, wow.
On a single charge. And like I've never had to recharge that controller. I've just done it like that's been like 2 weeks since I've recharged this. I'm just going to leave it on the charger overnight, and then it's fine forever, basically. So that's really nice. The Series X controller comes with AA batteries, which is a bummer, I think. But you can buy the kit to make it so it's a rechargeable battery, which I did end up doing with my Xbox One controller.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that like the Xbox Series X controller is probably my favorite stock controller that's ever come out, beating out the Xbox One controller. However, I've not gotten my hands on the DualSense. And
so that remains to be seen.
I'm very interested in seeing how that feels because I think the PS4 controller might be a close second in terms of my favorite. I think it beat out the Xbox 360 controller in terms of like my second favorite controller of all time, like stock with like pack-in controller.
Brian Shea, I didn't expect spice on this episode. Good lord.
Is that controversial to say that the PS4 controller rules?
It is a great controller, don't get me wrong. One thing I would like to point out on that I'm very excited about is that they switched it to USB-C for charging.
They did. So
which is beautiful. So you can
you might not be able to see it at this level because but yeah, it's what, micro USB, I think, or
I think so.
I always confuse micro USB and mini USB.
Yeah, it's a USB.
It's the one that everybody started using after the Wii U died.
Of course.
But yeah, USB-C is definitely something new there as well.
So if you're excited about the controller, you have good reason to be because this thing sounds like it is exactly what Xbox fans are expecting.
Yeah, it's an iterated version of what you already are used to, and it has a couple of new bells and whistles, but it's not going to be the drastic reinvention that we've typically seen with every Xbox controller to this point. Even going from like the Duke on original Xbox to like the Xbox S, I guess they called it. What was it? I think they just called it like the Xbox Controller S, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then they went to 360, which 360 was a huge improvement over that. And then the One just blew the 360 controller out of the water, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this, I don't think is like as big of like an evolution, not as big of like a blowing the Xbox One controller out of the water like they have every generation to this point.
For sure.
But it's definitely my favorite.
Cool. Mr. Shea, where can people get this? When can people get this? And let's say goodbye.
Yeah, so it comes out November 10th, which, it's going to be a pretty busy week for gamers. We have, we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we have Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5 all that week.
I don't know how we're going to get through it.
We won't. So yeah, do your best to pre-order it if you want. I don't know how, like, I know that Xboxes and PS5s are extremely hard to come by in terms of like buying them right now.
Yeah, for real.
I know that like unless you were one of the very lucky few who got through, then you probably are out of luck on launch. However, I don't know if they're selling the controllers or like what the state of the pre-order is there. So if you just want a new controller, I don't think it works with your your Xbox One. Maybe it does. I haven't tested that, but
we're not sure. But
yeah, I mean, it's coming November 10th, so
yeah,
get excited.
Cool. As always, if you want, we have a lot of good Xbox stuff up today, but stick to GameInformer.com, YouTube.com/GameInformer. Like, share, subscribe. You know the whole rigmarole. Brian Shea, get us out of here.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we will have the full Game Informer show coming up later this week. And actually, no, today, I believe.
Yeah. No. Sure.
Yeah,
Game
it's
Informer show's coming
today.
out. Yeah.
Game Informer show this week. Check us out on all the platforms that Alex just ran down. And thanks so much for joining us. And we'll see you next time.